Warning, Daz Radio is not responsible for any losses, damages, or liabilities that may arise from the use of this podcast. 1K frequency is not intended to replace professional advice, and our views may not necessarily reflect those views of our featured guests.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. This is 1K Frequency. I am Skittlecakes, and I'm joined with Dazzo and Atlas once again. And we got a really cool story for you. Check this out. A 19-year-old girl in Maine bought a bowling alley, but not just any bowling alley. This bowling alley was actually struggling financially. In fact, it was nearing ready to shut down, especially during the COVID era. And but this bowling alley is very unique. Now, why do I say that? Because this is what they call candlepin bowling. These were the bowling alleys before pins became the actual pins that we know today. Like, these were cylindrical pins. I think that was kind of the standard. They were like more cylindrical. They weren't like, shaped like a bottle. And you threw almost like that looked like kind of like a bocce ball size ball towards the pins. It wasn't like a full size bowling ball, but they were still weighted. And I thought it was fascinating.
They are technically what you normally use in like 10-pin bowling these days.
Yeah, but they weren't like full size that I could tell.
No, they're the smaller ones.
Yeah, they're way smaller. They're not like, like I have a 13-pound bowling ball, and it's pretty large. I mean, it's a large ball. It's weighted. But these look more like, you don't throw them like you would a normal bowling ball. It was actually kind of fascinating. It's almost like lawn bowling, I suppose. But
give or take.
Yeah, what I found fascinating is that this girl's run this place for 2 years. Her name is Autumn Maury, and she got different people to help her out financially to buy this place. She'd been going there since she was 7 years old, and she loved it. And when the opportunity came up, she bought this place. I mean, I love the entrepreneurial spirit. I love that. I love it when somebody can take something that's going to completely shut down and is considered a landmark by the locals. Like, this is like something that they've grown up with, has been around for years. It's kind of a feel-good story. I watched the interview that she gave with a local media outlet. She's the only person running it.
Only worker, for that matter.
Yeah, she's literally the only worker there. And I can't remember. There was a reason why she couldn't hire someone. I think, was it insurance that she couldn't hire?
Insurance.
Yeah, it was insurance issues. There was an insurance issue as to why she couldn't hire.
It was actually because of how old
the gear
other equipment is.
Yeah. So you have to imagine, if you all know what a pin setter is, that's the big mechanical device behind the wall that, sucks up all the pins. Actually, it sweeps them into like this roundabout thing behind a big black cage or rubber cage or whatever, or rubber thing. Behind that, it spins around, and they all got up this like little conveyor belt, go into like this pin setter thing, and then it lowers it back down. It's the same thing with the candlestick pins. The technology is from 1949, and the ones that she works with were just prototypes. They were never meant for production use. So I couldn't tell how many lanes that place had. It looked like about 16 lanes, which is pretty large. That's a pretty large venue.
Roughly
was it like
16 to 18 lanes?
Yeah, it was like 16. Yeah, just based on the photograph, it was kind of hard to see, but it looked like it was pretty big, and it was just fascinating. Like, she had to learn how to work on the stuff. And here's the problem: if any of that stuff breaks down, you ain't gonna find parts for it. You have to have that stuff custom fabricated, and custom fabrication gets very expensive. Whether it's milling gears, building chains, because it's all chain-driven systems. If a belt breaks, like she said, one of the belts broke, and she had to figure out how to do that, or how to get that replaced. There was even a part
that takes a lot of knowledge.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. She had to learn that stuff. Like, she had to learn it on her own, because there's really probably no documentation on a prototype. Very little documentation, if any, exists. So you're like, okay, how does this thing work? And she's probably gone there after hours and just looked at a machine, opened it up, because some of the stuff is exposed, But there's probably some internal mechanicals that are actually behind, like, panels or whatever, that she probably had to open up and say, okay, what is going where? What does what? How does this function? Which I have mad respect for. Tinkering is how you learn. Obviously, these are not machines for the faint of heart. These things will brutalize you. Like if like she said, I think they said that she had like had a fracture in her hand after working on one of the machines.
Yes.
And I'm like, I cannot imagine like that machine would just eat you alive, because I mean it's a very nasty creature. It seems like she's bringing it back a little bit. I think the locals really like it. It's not like a lot of traffic, like a lot of foot traffic right now, because I think there's a lot of people that are just like, me, I could not care less. But I like stories like this because it's the little mom and pop shop come to life again. It's, we're not talking about a big corporation. We're talking about a little tiny thing that a local purchased because they just loved what it was. They learned how to play the game, and then they have to go and learn the systems. And she said that these things break down so much, like the pin setters. So you have to learn all this stuff. Like she's a Jill of all trades, which is really cool. And the sad thing is she can't hire anybody to help her. And that's got to be hard, especially if you can't hire somebody knowledgeable. Because I'm sure she would rather just have the kind of some, like, she likes to do some things, but maybe the mechanical stuff, she's like, yeah, I really don't know enough about this, so I want to bring in an expert who knows, or who could at least, figure this out and be able to say, okay, yep, I know how to do this, and then make that your maintenance person, right?
Or she could technically hire another person who helps her run, like, the food, the bar, do the non-technical mechanical side of things.
Yeah, but even that, I don't think they were even allowing. Like literally no employee works with her. None.
I understand.
Now,
but I think that might be the case. That might be a key opening.
Here's a thought. What about volunteerism? Would they say anything about people who wanted to volunteer, who aren't getting a paycheck, who aren't contracted? They're just like, hey, look, we love this place too. We'll just do this, for free. We'll just, we'll vacuum your floors or wipe your tables up. We're not going to ask for any paychecks. No bartering. Like, we will work for you, but we don't want any free bowling time or whatever. No, we're just doing this because we want to help you. I don't think they could say anything about that. Maybe they would. I don't know, but that would be the way to go. And yeah. I know that she has stated that she wants to upgrade all of those pin setters eventually, which is probably going to be very expensive because pin setters are not cheap. If she's got 16 lanes, and let's say those are $25,000, $30,000 a piece, they may give her a bulk discount, but even that, you're looking at, close to maybe $500,000 after all that. And that's not including installation.
So I confirm that's only 12 lanes.
Okay, well, that's still a lot of lanes, though, for a bowling alley.
Yes.
The one I live not too far from is, I think, only 5 lanes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's pretty small. That's a restaurant. That's a bar and grill restaurant with a 5-lane bowling alley. And
yeah, I know there's one like nearby, anyways.
Yeah, it's like a little mom and pop shop, and but those have such, like, that's like old school, like, small town living. I mean, that would be the center point. I mean, that's what you could really promote. It's like, this is the center gathering point, and it's in a really cool building, and it just had that really, like, small, like, 50s style vibe, maybe 70s with the lighting or whatever, but it had that vibe from, like, 30, 40 years ago, and I thought that is really, really cool. And yeah, it would be nice to see some success with that. And hopefully Autumn can make that work and, make that her, like, lifelong passion, and make it a thing for Maine. I didn't catch the city of where this is at.
I did a little bit of a
checking in.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into that.
Yeah.
Her mother owned the bowling alley.
Oh, really?
It was called Eastward Lane.
Okay.
It was owned by her mother, and 2 years ago they transferred ownership to her daughter.
I don't think that was
amazing.
Yeah, which I don't think was mentioned in the reporting.
I am reading the article. That was
okay. That's cool. That's cool.
that I found.
Yeah, because I know
yeah.
the company was losing a lot of money after COVID.
Yeah.
Because
They
what
did
didn't?
technically shut down for like fucking 2 years.
Yeah, like what didn't lose money? I'm surprised. I'm surprised it even could open up again because hundreds of thousands of businesses closed and never opened up again. So
Yep.
one, that's a survivor. That's a survivor story, which is even more respect for that. But the fact that it was family owned and it's now staying in the next generations, that's cool. That is really cool.
And she's only 21.
One thing that was mentioned in the interview was, unfortunately, she does, because she is the only person that works there, she does get the brunt of all the unhappy customers. She's been cussed out and just people walk out on her and all that stuff. F you this, blah, blah. I'm sure it's all every expletive you can think of. But she's a trooper, man. She takes it. And she takes it. But, you know, that we were just talking about that before. It's like that's just how people are these days. They expect everything now and they don't care. So,
yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So, what do you think about this, Atlas? I'm kind of curious about that. Like, you know, somebody around your generation actually buys a bowling alley.
To see someone around my generational age wanting to own a bowling alley and keep it running, that's kind of saying something.
Yeah.
Instead of everyone deciding to give it up and move on to bars or something.
Or better yet, no, I'm gonna stay on my TikToks.
No, yeah, the kids.
That's all I care about is my TikToks. I care about my TikToks and how stupid I can be doing some of these crazy stupid things, you know. And
then there's some of the other life choices some people create that you probably shouldn't do in your life.
Yep.
Yep.
Because they're doing it for the money.
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, what is this that I found? I don't know if this is still up though.
What'd you find, Dazzo?
There's still a GoFundMe page that was launched to help Autumn with the fixer upper of the bowling alley.
If that is that still active?
Holy moly!
Is that still active?
That is. Let me double check. Yeah, it's still active.
Jeez.
The GoFundMe page has raised over $18,000 US.
Nice.
Crap.
That's nice.
They are very close to that $25,000 goal.
That's awesome.
That is insane,
dude. How long has that been running?
Looks like for 2 years.
Okay.
2 years.
So,
damn.
Roughly, I don't know. Yeah. Let me see. So it looks like Autumn updated this back in last January.
So this is going to be one of those that she's going to probably keep running because she needs the money to upgrade the pin setters and, you know, probably make some more cosmetic, you know, updates and things like that. Probably the floor because that's, you know, specialized. I mean,
we'll try to leave the GoFundMe page in the link in the comments.
Yep, and probably I would
we'll
say
also have it up in the YouTube channel there as well.
I'd also put it on your website too, like a link to that.
Yes.
You know, so
and maybe a link in the Spotify description.
Exactly.
I will do my best to help.
Link it everywhere. Yeah.
Autumn.
Yep. Exactly.
Spread the word because we are just that amazing and that helpful.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, Autumn, I'm sure if you ever hear this podcast, 1K Frequency, we support what you're doing. That is really awesome.
We got your back.
We got your back. We'll help in any small way we can to promote this wonderful thing that you're doing, and hopefully you'll be able to get those pin setters and any kind of modifications or changes you want to make to the facility and make it an awesome place for families to come for generations. We're talking classic bowling. We're not talking about modern, but we're talking classic. We're talking old school candlestick bowling, which was a thing. It was a thing at a time. I would like to try it. I want to see how bad I suck at that game because, you know, as much as I said, like, I bought all the gear, I still suck at bowling. Yeah, last time I went, I wasn't healthy, but I went and I was like, my girlfriend beat me. I was like,
it's been many, many years since I went to bowling, so
yeah,
I need to shake off that rust too.
Oh, my arm hurts so bad. Like, I look, 16 pounds is typically what a guy will use. I'm using a 13 because I don't have the strength yet, and I'm rolling, and I'm not trying to be aggressive with it, and I'm like halfway through the frame, I think I'm on the 5th frame. I'm literally throwing like dog crap. I'm getting one pin, Gutterball. Maybe I get a strike here and there, but I'm like, yeah, this is bad. So maybe that smaller round object and the more straight pins might be a thing. I don't know. But unfortunately, I don't live anywhere near Maine. But if you do live around the Maine area, around the city that this is located in, you should go check it out. What's the new name of the facility?
The Amandas. The apostrophe Amandas. Or you could just search up Ellsworth Bowling Alley.
Okay. Well, that'll work too. And
the address is going to be 25 at Eastward Lane in Ellsworth, Maine.
So go check them out. I think that's going to do it for this episode of 1K Frequency. Really appreciate you tuning in for our second episode. And if you do have any questions or comments or concerns of any nature whatsoever, or you want to share one of your crazy stories with us and you don't mind us reading it on the air, you can get into contact with us by our email at dazradio@hotmail.com. Catch you later, and don't get canceled.